Welcome back to the Kilowatts. Today we've got the Mini Cooper SE 2-door, fully electric. It's got 110 miles of range, a great city driver. We're gonna give it a full review. Let's get started. The Mini Cooper website says that this car can probably get about 110 miles. Right now at about 99%, the car is claiming that we can get 91 miles of range on its like medium setting. And then when we switch it to green, we're looking at more like 95 miles, and then green plus, it claims that we can get 103. So we're gonna give it a full test of its range while we experience kind of its handling, how it drives, and we'll give you our thoughts on that.
Oh, it's funny, it shows gas stations.
Is it really?
Yeah, I'll try to zoom out. It shows gas stations.
We're in Los Angeles, so you know we had to hit some of the canyon roads. And I will say, this car is actually surprisingly fun to drive. It's got a nice little bit of pep, especially when it's in sport mode. And even when you switch it like down to green mode, it maps the acceleration curve at the low end to be a little bit smoother, a little bit softer. But if you really put your foot into it, it kind of remaps and it accelerates really well. That short wheelbase and the 16-inch wheels that we've got on here, you know, it's fun to drive. Nothing performance oriented, but you can't deny how fun it is. So one thing we're learning as we drive these canyon roads is that the car very much has different regen profiles when it's in sport versus green. And so right now we're in sport, and when I lift off my foot off the accelerator, it kind of quickly gets on the regen and then maintains kind of at a consistent level the regen. But if I switch over to green, for example, it's a very smooth, very light regen. It never seems like it like hits on, and it's very light. Not really what I would expect. I would expect green to have a stronger regen profile. So just kind of interesting, kind of fun. I definitely prefer the sport mode, but it is more difficult to feather off the accelerator if you want to kind of take advantage of that regen as like a braking behavior. It's nice that it goes on hard, but it's definitely a little bit inconsistent. So it's not, again, the most performance oriented, but it feels very sporty. One last thing I'll say as we're leaving the canyons is that this car is actually a surprisingly good suspension. It's not you know, a comfortable suspension, but it doesn't hit too hard. It feels like we're in, you know, a $30,000 car. I'm really happy with how it feels handling. And yeah, I wouldn't say this is much of a road trip car, obviously because of the range and also because of the suspension, but it does its job well. This is the end of our time with the Mini Cooper SE all electric, and honestly, I'm a big fan of it. This thing with about 100 miles of range, it really does the job pretty well for in-city driving. It's really agile, really fun to drive. The range estimator was great. Apple CarPlay, also great. There's not really much to say negative about this. It's a Mini Cooper, it's not a luxury car, it's not a performance car, but for their first full electric, committing to the new age of full electric, I'm really happy with it and look forward to driving it again. Thanks for watching, we'll see you in the next one.